Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Don Riggs Hurricane Gym and Barry Pruitt Court for our coverage of the 34th Annual Barry Pruitt Hurricane Classic. Andy Maness and Brad Bobo here with you, ready to bring you the first of 4 games on this Saturday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us on Tubetown. Brad, didn't get a chance to watch either of these teams play yesterday, but very excited because obviously Pine Bluff brings a lot of athleticism. Did get to review kind of a little bit of their game yesterday, and I know they love to shoot the 3-ball as well. Unfortunately, things just didn't go their way yesterday against ICC.
Well, it's sort of 2 programs, each in their own right, in a position they're not used to being in. Neither one of these teams are used to going to an event like this and playing in the 7th place game. But they're both, I think, still at this point, you can just kind of watch both coaches and talk with them and know they're still trying to figure things out from a personnel standpoint. Scott Boland at Harber says he was starting his 4th different starting lineup in their 4th game today. These are all kids that he said a year ago were either playing JV or junior high. So, his goal is, he even has a date. He told his team last night, by December 29th, I want to know who our top 8 guys are. So every day is a learning experience for his Harber bunch. And Pine Bluff's in the same position. I mean, Coach Billy Dixon, saw, probably 15, 20 minutes before tip-off, didn't know who he was starting. I mean, so you got 2 coaches, programs are used to winning, but, trying to get through some youth and inexperience here in the early part of the season.
Yeah, and I think that's why these coaches love playing in tournaments like this one. Not only do you get to put your team up against some pretty good competition that you don't normally get to see throughout the school year, but as you mentioned, it does give you a chance to figure out who your guys are going to be going into conference play a little bit later on this year. And Lawson Jenkins is going to start things off on the right foot for Harber. 3-pointer knocked down in the corner pocket.
Yeah, good start there. Open look in the corner, and Jenkins, a junior, knocked it down. And then they come out playing a little zone look against Pine Bluff here early. See if the Zebras will try to shoot them out of it.
3-point attempt on the way, off the mark, rebounded by Harber. Nice entry pass into the lane, and that's Cole Bowen.
Yeah, good look ahead by Buchanan, and good job by Bowen there. Just running the floor. He beat everybody down the floor. Buchanan had his eyes up, found him, and Harber has the first 5.
Starting 5 for the Pine Bluff Zebras: Dadrian White, Caleb Higgins, Tavion Harris, Darius Morris, and Malcolm Howard. And that's Caleb Higgins dropping one in from about 10 feet.
And he sort of got, inside that zone. If somebody's going to play his zone, there's some soft spots in it. And Pine Bluff did a good job finding it there. Now they're out ahead on an unforced turnover.
Yep, the Zebras on a fast break are going to capitalize and narrow the margin to 1. Darius Morris getting out ahead of the pack there. And a quick foul called on the Zebras. That'll go against Dadrian White. First personal, first team.
It's a good answer there by Pine Bluff to come back after Harber got the first 5 points of the day, and now they force another turnover.
Yeah, back-to-back turnovers for the Zebras. And a quick shot and a charge called against the Zebras. I think that was Dadrian White. Nope, Caleb Higgins.
Yeah, Higgins
charging the lane.
Oh, picked up his first.
And that'll be the second team foul back-to-back on the Zebras. And now it'll be Nick Buchanan bringing it up the floor.
Not surprisingly, Pine Bluff guard and Harber man, but good job there by Lawson Jenkins to get by his defender. Just couldn't get the layup to go.
And that rolled around every part of the hoop. Just couldn't fall. Ball goes back court. Referee says it was tipped. 3-pointer, corner pocket, rims in and out. Offensive rebound. Couldn't nail the putback, and now Harber will bring it back the other way. Zebras are going to stick to this full court pressure.
Yeah, it's going to be a travel called against Harber. Buchanan called for the violation, and he actually rolled an ankle a little bit in the process, hobbled off the floor. Matter of fact, he's going to check out of the lineup as they'll see Charlie Bockelman come in his spot.
Yeah, in the last couple possessions, have worked out for the Zebras, except for those two team fouls, obviously, but they've kind of switched it up and playing full court press down. It's resulted in some turnovers.
And Harber trying to stay active with his own, and yeah, that's a shot they're willing to give up. I mean, if somebody's going to try to get you out of a zone by hitting three-pointers 3 steps beyond the line, that's a chance you're willing to take. And Pine Bluff didn't knock it down, but they keep possession.
Yeah, Pine Bluff is sticking to this three-point shooting offense, as you mentioned. Just can't find an entry pass because Harbor's doing a good job clogging up the paint.
See, that was a good job that time there. You know, Charles Harris got his dribble just inside the free throw line. It's the middle of that zone, and things had to close in on him. It's a reach-in foul, so they'll inbound it again as you see another change of lineup. Garrett Pironi checking in for Springdale Harber.
Yeah, Cole Bishop will head to the bench. You mentioned Charles Harris. No, he had a couple of three-pointers in yesterday's game against ICC, so they'll have to keep an eye on him beyond the perimeter. That might be why he's in the game right now with the zone defense that Harbor's playing. They're keeping it well off that three-point line, though. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. They're going to enter the lane. Darius Morris going to be called for the charge.
Yeah, good job by you to even call out the shot clock. I was just sitting here thinking about it when you said it. Just, you know, how different it may be for these players and coaches and officials and everybody involved to play with a shot clock. And it'd be a good experience for these teams just in case. You know, Arkansas works its way toward a growing list of states that use the shot clock all the time.
Yeah, and I told we're going to have a jump ball as Cole Bowen sticks that one between the rim and the backboard. Yeah, I told Wes Cisco about that last night. You know, we're discussing the shot clock as you see on the replay. This is something that I've really enjoyed being a part of. I mean, this has been fun to watch because, as you mentioned, it just brings a different element to the game that these kids aren't familiar with, and it's just kind of fun to see how they're reacting to it, and you know, it kind of makes it a little more real for them. It makes it a little more like the collegiate level, and you got to imagine that some of these guys who have the D1, D2 talent, they're gonna get a lot of benefit out of this in the long run.
Well, and hopefully today, you know, as this 8-team field has sort of played itself into these matchups, in theory, this should be the most even matchups you see all week. Hopefully that leads to some close games, because in some late close game situations, that shot clock can really affect how coaches decide to play those, when to foul, when to not foul. Hopefully we'll see some tight games and see how coaches, you know, work with the shot clock.
Jenkins working it outside for Pironi. There's a three-point shot from Bowen, and it'll find its way to the bottom of the net. 5 points here in the quarter for Bowen, and it's now an 8-4 lead for Harber.
Again, they're tried. You saw their entry initially. They tried to go inside out in the zone, and now trying to find a way to get back inside there again. That's where you know, beyond just hitting threes, other than just hitting threes, you got to try to attack this zone inside out.
Yeah, they've been able to spread out this zone a couple of times, but it hasn't resulted in any points for them. They've slashed the lane like you see them trying to do there, but there's the three-point attempt from Harris that's off the mark. There's an offensive board, and that's the kind of points that the Zebras need. Darius Morris on the putback for his 4th point of the quarter.
Well, and if you're Coach Scott Boland, you're going to have to watch that, because it's, you know, one thing you leave yourself open to playing zone is offensive rebounding, and Pine Bluff got one there. And so if Harber can't keep Pine Bluff off the boards, they'll have to maybe make an adjustment. But so far, the zone has worked.
First foul on Darius Morris. 3rd team foul on the Zebras here in the first half. 3:02 left to play in the first. 8-6 the score. Harber with the lead over Pine Bluff here. Trace Vitt, another new Harber player into the game, and a travel called on Jacob Howard. Well,
good idea.
I was going to say, we've seen almost every player on the roster here for Harber in the first quarter.
Yeah, there was a good idea there. Went baseline, drew a defender, and threw a little shovel pass, but shuffled the feet in the process, the official said.
Yeah, Harbor's getting some good looks here in the opening quarter, but still kind of low scoring, but I think both of these teams still feeling each other out.
You see shot clock under 10.
And down to 8. There's a little shot from about the free throw line that will fall. Good look from Caleb Higgins.
Yeah, and just what I've been talking about. Got late in the shot clock, and all of a sudden he was able to dribble inside the lane. And when you can get to there, one of two things are going to happen. You're going to open shot like he did right there, or the defense is going to collapse and leave somebody open.
How about Lawson Jenkins on the drive and the finish? He'll go to the free throw line as well for an old-fashioned three-point play. But, man, what length and what range he's got. I mean, he's just flung his arm out there and scooped it in. Foul called on Dazu Thomas.
Yep.
And Jenkins will hit the and one.
First free throw of the game for either team.
Zebras bring it up the floor into the front court. See if they can get it in the interior here.
And they're flashing a play right there at the free throw line. You see that's sure Darius Morris is hanging out. Flash to the free throw line, try to get an entry pass there. Now he'll check out as we see Jared Giddens into the lineup.
And that's where they scored their last possession to tie it up before that three-point play by Lawson. Right there at the free throw line, just had a little bit of space and a little jump shot tied it up. 1:47 left to play here in the first. Shot clock at 7. There's a deep three-point attempt. That'll fall. Caleb Higgins now with 7 in the quarter. Ties it up again.
The key word there was deep. Again, a shot that most times Harbor's okay with giving up, but that time Higgins knocked it down.
He was almost sitting on the Harber bench when he launched that one. Jabrian Digger on the drive. He'll go to the free throw line now to try to break the tie. 1:28 left to play in the quarter. Jared Giddens called for his first personal foul, 15th foul. So the Zebras will have to watch themselves throughout the second quarter.
And that's what, Harbor's done a good job trying to get to the rim against, somebody playing man. And Pine Bluff, as you said, kind of had the fouls pile up early. Has a chance to shoot a lot of free throws in this second half.
Yeah, they've had a charge, and they had a little hip check foul out here at midcourt, and all the other ones have been Harber just attacking the paint. Digger hits both of those free throws, so now 13-11 is the score. Harber leading by 2. Pine Bluff going for the lead on this possession. Three-point attempt by Harris is off the mark. Here comes Harber with 1:10 left to play in the quarter.
Scott Boland didn't like something. He jumped up and grabbed a timeout.
And Digger looks like he's holding maybe his left hand, or maybe something wrong with his elbow, but he's, I think it's his hand, looking at his wrist there.
Yeah, let's see.
Might have got his finger jammed or
like
something like that.
So they make another change of lineup. It's already the second guy they've had to check out here, a little banged up in the first quarter.
Yeah,
rolled an ankle, and now it looked like, jammed fingers or wrist or something.
Yeah, Nick Buchanan hobbled off a little bit earlier, and as he gets up now, I was going to say, I don't know if we've seen him since he got up or went to the bench a moment ago, rather. 13-11 the score, 1:04 left to play here in the quarter. Again, this is the first of 4 games here on this Saturday afternoon in Jonesboro. Thanks for joining us on Tubetown. Andy Maness and Brad Bobo here with you. The other games on the docket today, we've got ICC against Westside coming up next. And then following that, we'll have Bryant and Nettleton. And then to close out the afternoon of basketball, we'll have the championship game between the home team hosting Jonesboro Golden Hurricanes and the North Little Rock Charging Wildcats, a rematch of last year's championship matchup. And anytime those two teams get together, it doesn't matter if it's on the football field, the basketball court, it's going to be a great game.
Well, that's the thing is, no matter how far apart you put those two teams in a bracket, they seem to find their way to one another.
No doubt about it. Lawson goes off the right side, and he's going to try to lay it in with those long arms of his, but instead he'll go to the free throw line now as he's fouled.
Second on Giddens, and now you have the 6th team foul. So Harbor's going to spend the whole second quarter in the bonus.
It looked like Lawson Jenkins was getting ready to slam that one home. Have an early start to the highlight reel here in Don Riggs Hurricane Gym. Lawson going 2 for 2 on that trip. A perfect 3 for 3 from the stripe here in the quarter. 53 seconds remaining as the Zebras bring it up the floor. Now trailing by 4, 15-11. Here's Higgins looking for Harris now. And now to Giddens.
Actually, literally, I'm excited for every game on the slate today. That next one, I'm really looking forward to. That West Side Izard County game. Those, two teams that people expect to make deep runs in their classifications, and kind of can't wait to see all the athletes they put on the floor coming up next.
Great shot off the left side just as time expires. And that was Dazu Thomas with his first points of the game. Brad, you said it a minute ago, theoretically, the tournament should have worked out to where all of the games that we see today are the most evenly matched up. So hopefully that plays out. 3 seconds left here in the first quarter. Harber, three-point attempt. Missed everything as time expires, and we'll head to the second. 15-13 the score. Harber leading Pine Bluff. We're back with the second quarter here on our coverage of the 34th Annual Barry Pruitt Hurricane Classic on Tubetown. Live local from Ritter Communications.
You've got a lot of choices when you buy home furnishings. There are many reasons to choose Hubbard & Hoke Furniture, Blytheville and Osceola.
At Hubbard & Hoke, you'll find a great selection of furniture, appliances, bedding, and electronics with outstanding service, 6 ways to finance your purchase, and free local delivery.
Plus, you'll get a great deal every day on name brands you know and trust.
Great deals, outstanding service, and free delivery. You're going to love
Hubbard & Hoke Furniture, Blytheville and Osceola.
Andy Maness and Brad Bobo welcome you back to Don Riggs Hurricane Gym for the second quarter between Harber and Pine Bluff. 15-13 is the score. Harber with a 2-point lead as we begin the second quarter. And it's been a very back and forth game. Harber hopped out to an early 5-0 lead, but Pine Bluff is able to come back and tie it up a couple of times. And now trailing by 2, I think they've got to feel pretty good about where they're at, especially considering the foul trouble that they're in.
Yeah, both teams, I bet you ask both these coaches, they feel like they've played from behind all weekend. So to be a quarter in and kind of everybody be on even footing here, they're glad, not just for a chance to win, but just a chance to get their kids in some close game situations along the way and see who can get in that spot and pull themselves out of win here in a little bit.
Here's a steal on the first possession of the second quarter, and that's going to be Caleb Higgins. Going to the free throw line now. Couldn't hit the fast break layup. Good job by Harber not allowing him to get that shot off. That's Cole Bowen picking up his first.
Just the second Harber team foul. So first free throw of the game for Pine Bluff.
Higgins will hit it. Next one will tie it up again at 15. It'll be the third time we've had a tie ball game here in the first half. And Higgins does that. Knots it up at 15.
I'll say this just in time to jinx everybody. So far, the team, they're combined 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Nobody's missed yet, so that means the next guy that shoots a free throw is probably going to airball it.
Absolutely. It's going to be a hard brick for sure. We'll get to see here as Harber will head to the free throw line. And that's going to be Trace Vitt into the game off the bench for Harber.
Malcolm Howard picked up the foul. That's his team foul number 7. And the heat's on Trace Vitt. Yep.
There it is. Called it.
Well, my bad, Trace.
Charlie Bockelman checking into the game for Harber.
Here's the deal. Is they say, I deliberately said that, when nobody was standing there shooting it, thinking, well, if it's another trip or two down the floor, it could wear off. But he drove to the bucket and got fouled as soon as I said it, so he put it to the test.
So Harber regains the lead by 1, and how about that? The Zebras will take their first lead of the game. That's Armand Buchanan.
That time, Pine Bluff was just able to sort of throw it over the zone and get it down on the block.
Yeah, they haven't been able to get into the lane very many possessions so far throughout this first half. There's Vitt, able to get that pass off to Lawson Jenkins, who just drains the triple from the top of the key.
You got that right. He just caught that one as the defender had left and He just nailed it.
And you love to see those three-pointers that fall where the net barely even moves. Trying to set a screen here maybe to get something open on the high post, but instead it's a three-pointer, and that's Caleb Higgins.
He's in double figures with, looks like a dozen.
Yeah, he's leading the way for his team, and puts the Zebras back up by 1. It's now 20-19.
Again, you know, nobody's want to go to extend their zone out that far. Where he hit that one, that's the second one he's knocked down from way beyond the line.
How about that step-back jumper from Lawson Jenkins to knock down his third triple of the game?
And he's now got 14 in the first half. So a couple of good individual efforts.
Give him some style points for that one as well. How about the head fake? Oh, should have took up the shot, but instead dishes it off to his teammate, and Tavion Harris will clean up the mess there. Well, had a good look, open look on the right side, and just dumped it off needlessly, I think.
Yeah, one too many passes, but they got away with it, got the bucket, and tied again at 22.
There's Vitt looking for a three-pointer. Cole Bishop couldn't drain it. And Zebras trying to lead it ahead there for Arn Buchanan, and just led him a bit too far. Buchanan couldn't catch up to it. Oh, the referee's going to say it was tipped, I guess, so it stays right here with the Zebras, actually.
Both teams make some changes.
Yeah, it's been a rotating cast of characters for both of these teams here through the first half. Nice little dribble drive there by Colby Davis to finish with the floater. And he had to put that one up too because he was getting into the trees. Defenders had a little bit of height on him there as Harber will turn it over on their end of the floor, and Jabrian Digger will check back into the game.
So that's good. That's one of the Harber players that got banged up in the first quarter back out there.
Higgins brings it up the floor. There's Harris. Now Giddens with it. Look like they're trying to get some space for Higgins open to maybe run ISO here on the left side. I'm trying to set a screen for him to get him a little bit of space to shoot a three. It looked like it was blocked by Harber.
Yep.
Save it from going out of bounds. Here comes Harber with it.
If they would have looked up, Garrett Pieroni is the player that got the block, and then he took off running. They may have had a layup opportunity, and instead they get to the rim but miss a shot.
Yeah, Jacob Howard just laid it up there, and it wouldn't roll his way. Now he's checking his lip like he might have been popped in the mouth there. Boy, and you hate that too for Harber because Lawson Jenkins fed him nicely with a great-looking pass through traffic, and got to help your teammate out there, Jacob.
And you talked about sort of a revolving door there at the scores table. Guys checking in every whistle really speaks to what we talked about with both these teams earlier. Both these coaches still trying to find out who their guys are going to be as they get kind of into the teeth of their schedule and conference play.
Giving everybody plenty of opportunities here, especially throughout the first half. A three-point attempt off the mark there from Tavion Harris. On the other end, a three-point attempt from Lawson Jenkins will ring around and fall through.
A nice job there. I believe it was Pieroni who just sort of gave a little shovel pass to his shooter who was trailing, spotted up. They sort of did a good job of getting it to the hot hand, and now we have a timeout on the floor. Pine Bluff grabs a 30-second timeout.
Yeah, 3:43 left to play here in the second quarter, and let me just try to count this up here. I think in the second quarter we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have had 7 lead changes so far throughout the second quarter. So it has been very much a back and forth game between these two teams.
And Lawson Jenkins now with 17 of Harbor's 25 points here in the first 12 plus minutes of the game.
Yeah, a little bit of a scoring duel here between Lawson Jenkins and Caleb Higgins. each of them dropping in a couple of triples to help out their team. Higgins with 2 to his credit, and Jenkins has got, I believe, 4 now.
Yep. So we got 2 scores out there, cancel one another out. It's going to depend on whose dudes the rest of the roster can get the most done.
Well, this might be one of the highest scoring bench totals that we've ever had for this tournament. So many points off of the bench already, especially with the revolving cast of characters here. There's a 3-pointer dropped in, and I believe Johnny on the spot, Caleb Higgins.
His third 3 of the half. He's got 15. As I mentioned, Jenkins with 17. Now Higgins with 15 for Pine Bluff, and they're back up by a couple.
I think that's our 8th lead change here in the second quarter, and a turnover for Steps on Harber. I think the biggest lead we've had so far has been a 5-point lead that Harber hopped out to at the beginning of the game.
Sounds right.
Working it around the horn, looking for another. Oh, and yeah, that's going to be Higgins called for Steps. They're continuously trying to find some space for Harris to do work, or excuse me, Higgins rather, to do work. And that time looked like he was looking for an entry pass, but shuffled his feet. 2-point lead here for the Zebras, 27-25, under 3 minutes left to play in the second quarter. Great defense there by Dadrian White. So Pieroni comes over to take it out, gets it into Digger. Nice little feed. Can't finish the initial layup, but that's Arrington McCare.
Yeah, McCray came in and sort of just crashed the rim, fouled. Nobody put a body on him. He just tipped it up and in.
Ties it up at 27. 3-point attempt from the Zebras will break the tie once again. A 3-point lead now for the Zebras.
Trenton Harris that knocked that one down?
I believe it was. His first points of the afternoon. About 2:05 left to play in the second quarter. Good help defense there. And ball off the backboard. It'll be Zebra basketball. Great defense as the interior players collapsed on McCray. Forced the turnover. Zebras have also done a good job of staying out of foul trouble. They've still been able to play aggressively on defense, but with 17 fouls here in the last few minutes of the second quarter, they have not committed a foul. Harber has not been back to the free throw line.
Yeah, they've only had 1 in the entire second quarter after racking up 6 in the first frame. And there's another 3-pointer, and it's that man again, Caleb Higgins.
And now Pine Bluff out to their biggest lead of the game. 6-point lead, biggest lead for either team.
And Higgins gets in and makes the play on defense. Hasn't gone the other way. Numbers weren't there, and he's tripped up from behind.
A little bit of a stare down there between Higgins and the offending Garrett Pieroni. Higgins wasn't too happy about taking that bump from behind, and it looked like his eyes were letting Pieroni know.
Well, Pieroni's having to hear about it from another place right now. I think he's over there having a word with Coach Boland. It's got nothing to do with tripping him.
Yeah, he came over and had a seat to the bench for sure. 1:05 left to play in the second quarter. Higgins working off a screen now.
See, they're having to guard him way out beyond the 3-point line. So what happens? He drove in, got a step on his defender, Bowen, and knocked down the mid-range jumper.
Well, he is hot, too. I don't think he's missed one here in the last 4 possessions. He's been taking the shots here for the Zebras without a doubt. Here's Digger for a 3-pointer. Rims in and out, but McCray there to clean it up. Can't get the putback. Loose ball, and Higgins comes down with it.
Pine Bluff could basically do what it wanted to here. If they wanted to hold it, they could. They took it to the rim, and now it's going to go the other way.
Yeah, they're going to get an offensive foul there on Darius Morris. That should be number 2 on Morris, and that'll be number 8 on the Zebras. So
no, that was after his shot. So we're going to stop the clock and go the length of the floor and give Harber free throws when there was about a 1 second difference. Basically, I mean, the shot clock was on, but Pine Bluff could have taken the last shot essentially if it wanted to.
And that could be some of the things we talked about early on in this game, these players just not being familiar with playing with the shot clock. As you see another rushed shot from the Zebras, it gives Harber another chance to put in some points.
Now Jenkins backs it up, wants to go to work.
He's double teamed, just puts up a three-pointer, hits the rim but won't fall. A good look, even though he had the defense all over him, but Lawson Jenkins can't hit it. The two teams head to the locker room with a score of 35-27. The Pine Bluff Zebras with a heck of a second quarter against Springdale Harber. We'll tell you all about it coming up here in the halftime break, tally up some stats and recap that first half and get you ready for the second. We're back with more here on the Ritter Communications halftime show on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
You've got a lot of choices when you buy home furnishings. There are many reasons to choose Hubbard & Hope Furniture, Blytheville and Osceola.
At Hubbard & Hope, you'll find a great selection of furniture, appliances, bedding, and electronics with outstanding service, 6 ways to finance your purchase, and free local delivery.
Plus, you'll get a great deal every day on name brands you know and trust.
Great deals, outstanding service, and free delivery. You're going to love
Hubbard & Hope Furniture, Blytheville and Osceola.
Life doesn't always go as planned. So when a power surge affects your TV, or a breakfast mishap takes out your laptop, Guardware multi-device protection gives you peace of mind, knowing your devices will be repaired or replaced with just one call, and without breaking the bank. Protection you can trust. Guardware from Ritter. Enroll today to keep what matters most protected tomorrow.
How much bandwidth will satisfy your home's hunger? The average household now has more wireless devices in use a day than ever before, including TVs, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. HD streaming and gaming can use large amounts of data and slow down speeds for other users. The more devices you use, the more bandwidth your home needs. So make sure you have enough bandwidth. Get up to 100 megs with internet from Ritter Communications. It's the speed you need to power all your devices. Call today.
No matter what kind of business you own or operate, you need to keep it connected. Ritter Communications delivers the fastest business internet speeds available at a price that won't slow you down. Ritter offers reliable 24-hour service with network monitoring, along with the scalable options your business needs to grow. And we do it all on our own fiber optic network. The choice is yours, and so is the savings. Connect to something better. Call or visit ritterbusiness.com today.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm home alone. Someone is trying to get in the back door.
Find a safe place like in a closet or under a bed, okay?
Okay.
Be very quiet and don't worry. Your home phone gave me your location.
Hurry.
Help is on the way.
Only a dedicated home phone can quickly pinpoint your address for emergency personnel. Cell phones can't. Keep your loved ones safe for less than 60 cents a day with a home phone from Ritter. Call today or go to rittercommunications.com.
Introducing Ritter Home Security. Ritter takes care of protecting what's most important to you, from threats like unwelcome visitors and fire, to making your life easier by putting the control of your home at your fingertips. Use the free app to shut the garage, lock the door, turn off lights, arm the system, and more. You can even turn back the thermostat to help save money on your energy bill. Plus, get a snapshot when your kids get home. It's smart, beautiful, convenient, and ready for your busy life. Ritter Home Security.
For your smartphones, tablets, phablets. For the browsers you carry in your trousers. Wowzers! For your big screens and small screens, short screens and tall screens, get speed that screams. From the top of your desk to the palm of your hand, it's the fastest internet speed in the land.
There's no end to your online possibilities with up to 100 meg internet speeds. If you're not getting your internet from Ritter, you should. Call 888-336-4466 today. Ritter Communications. Right by you.
High-speed internet for every grown-up, grandparent, kid, teen, and in between. Ritter's got it. Every JPEG, MPEG, and GIF for the working mom or the working stiff, loaded in a GIF. Whether you're a blogger, gamer, or pixel tamer, don't be a slow-speed blamer. Don't waste your time waiting to load that page. Get Ritter high-speed internet. It's all the rage.
There's no end to your online possibilities with up to 100 meg internet speeds. Only from Ritter Communications, right by you.
Technology was supposed to make our lives easier. No one told us about the plethora of glitches, viruses, hackers, hundreds of passwords to remember, and getting all our tech to sync up. Introducing Tech Home. Technology made easy for you and your devices. Tech Home makes it easy to set up, protect, and enjoy your internet-connected devices anytime, anywhere. Security, password management, backup, and premium tech support. Get back in charge of your digital life now with Tech Home.
You work here, you play here, you live here, and yet most of what you watch on television is about somewhere other than here. Until now, we proudly present Tubetown, TV about you. Tubetown is a Ritter Communications exclusive network featuring local sports, community events, unique and original programming from our community. Tubetown takes what's best about television, what's best about the community, and brings them together. Tubetown, only from Ritter Communications, right by you.
Satellite TV providers force you to sign a long-term contract, then saddle you with second-rate service and price increases. Ritter delivers TV service with stunning HD channels, plus bundle savings on the area's fastest internet, and a better home phone service with no long-term contracts, backed by our local customer care team. No contracts, no nonsense, just great service. Don't get stuck with a dish. Visit RitterCommunications.com to learn more.
It begins with a click. And no matter where you are, you have countless choices at your fingertips. On the road, on your break, even in your own backyard. A world of entertainment is just a click away. Simply go to RitterCommunications.com/TV Everywhere to get started. Ritter Communications, connecting you to everything that matters.
With so many great mega services available from Ritter Communications, it's hard to pick just one. Save a bundle with bundled services. Talk as much as you want, when you want, with unlimited long distance. Get the speed you need with up to 15, 30, 50, and even 100 megabits per second internet. Enjoy online bill pay and protect all your online data and devices with Tech Home and Guardware. With so many choices, options, and savings from Ritter, all you can say is, wow! Mega services, mega savings. That's Mega Ritter.
They always tell a story.
Halftime in Jonesboro, opening game of the final day of the 34th Barry Pruitt Hurricane Classic, and you see Pine Bluff on top 35-27 over Springdale Harbor. A 22-12 advantage for the Zebras in the second quarter. And that 8-point lead they bring out to start the third quarter, the largest lead either team has had in the ball game so far. So
yeah, Brett.
The one thing, if you play in zone, you can stop a lot of things but one. And when a dude just starts hitting shots, all of a sudden you got to reevaluate things, and that's what happened to Coach Bowden late in the half. Caleb Higgins got going, and we'll see if the halftime trip to the locker room did anything to cool him off.
Yeah, I mean, he just hit so many shots in a row. I mean, he got hot behind the three-point line, and you could tell, especially towards the end of the second quarter, what the Zebras' game plan on offense was, and that's try to get Higgins some open space. And you know, whether it was him working off of a screen, ISO, it didn't matter. He was knocking down his shots, and I think you said 20 points here in the first half. That is a heck of a scoring output. And then you look at just how really the Zebras have played overall. I mean, they've come out at the end of the second quarter and played some excellent defense, and have been able to hold this lead for what probably the last 2 minutes of that second quarter. So.
Well, and they played good defense without fouling, which they did not do in the first quarter. They had 6 team fouls at the end of the first frame, and we both thought that Harber would just shoot a steady stream of free throws in the second quarter, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, we talked about it. Trace Vitt, the only Harber player to get to the free throw line there in the second quarter. So, yeah, very surprised by that as well. They did a great job of playing defense.
And I'll be interested to see kind of what Harber does here to start the second half defensively, because they had, Coach Boland made a change there, but the last couple possessions of the first half, he chased Caleb Higgins around with the defender as opposed to just staying in the zone straight across the board. So we'll see what the wily veteran of, just about 35 years dials up here for the second half.
Yeah, let's go ahead and step aside for one more quick break. And when we come back, we'll have the third quarter between Springdale and Pine Bluff coming up next.
You've got a lot of choices when you buy home furnishings. There are many reasons to choose Hubbard & Hope Furniture, Blytheville and Osceola.
At Hubbard & Hope, you'll find a great selection of furniture, appliances, bedding, and electronics with outstanding service, 6 ways to finance your purchase, and free local delivery.
Plus, you'll get a great deal every day on name brands you know and trust.
Great deals, outstanding service, and free delivery. You're going to love
Hubbard & Hope Furniture, Blytheville and Osceola.
Andy Maness and Brad Bobo back here with you at Barry Pruitt Court inside Don Riggs Hurricane Gym. Third quarter between Pine Bluff and Springdale Harber. Pine Bluff with a 35-27 lead, a hard-fought lead, several lead changes throughout the first half, and Pine Bluff currently with an 8-point margin.
One good note for Harber is that we see Nick Buchanan out there to start the third quarter. Missed a lot of the first half with it looked like he rolled an ankle. And you also see Harber come out man-to-man to start the second half defensively. First time we've seen this all day.
Yeah, they've been sticking to that 2-3 zone, and that time with the switch, it results in them getting the rebound. Here comes Harber. McCray with it, leaves it for Buchanan. 3-point attempt, off the mark. That ankle's looking pretty good. Higgins with a no-look pass in the paint. Good look, but a bit too hot for Darius Morris to handle, but Morris got hacked in there as well. So foul called on Cole Bowen. Well, that's his second.
What happened, Harber that time had a couple guys more interested in trying to swipe at the ball than get in front of a guy. Non-shooting foul to make him inbound it, but they got the ball to the rim because nobody ever got in front of it.
Yeah, and Dadrian White kind of repeats that process here as he gets in the lane, and see another hack there by Cole Bowen. So third foul on him, 2 of them back-to-back. Dadrian White at the free throw line, still yet to score in this afternoon's ball game. He'll put his first points in the book here. Not even a minute gone by here in this third quarter. And even in this first minute, Brad, it seems like Pine Bluff has still put up more shots than Harber has so far.
1 out of 2 at the line. That's first miss of the day. Of course, Pine Bluff's just gotten to the line 4 times as McCray misses inside, and the Zebras grabbed that board. Harris went in to clear it out.
And here's Caleb Higgins, the man of the hour so far this afternoon. Look like they're trying to work something to get him open, but instead it's a foul called away from the ball.
Yeah, Charles Harris. They call a foul or they call a travel?
Oh, I think they called a travel. Good point.
I'll tell you this, if they didn't call a travel, Charles Harris traveled. So it worked out either way.
Wide open 3-point look for the Wildcats, off the mark. That's Cole Bishop looking for the triple in the corner. It won't fall, but it will go out of bounds. Last touch by Pine Bluff. So Harber going to keep it here underneath their own bucket. Try to get a good look here to get their first points of the third quarter.
And they've only scored 12 points since the end of the first quarter, so.
And most of those have come, I believe, from Lawson Jenkins.
Good job there by Buchanan to get to the rim. Couldn't get the finish, but he'll head to the line.
And Darius Morris called for his third personal foul. This is the first team foul on Pine Bluff here in the second half. Good little scoop shot attempt there by Buchanan. Put it out away from his body, underhanded it.
That's his first point of the afternoon. Of course, again, he's missed the biggest chunk of it with the ankle.
And saw him in the warm-up process here before we began the third quarter, and he was doing, side-to-side shuffles, trying to get some blood moving through those legs. Off the mark on his second free throw, but an offensive rebound. The ball stolen away by Lawson Jenkins. Over to Bowen, now to Bishop. Entry pass to Jenkins. He'll have to work it back outside beyond the perimeter. Couldn't handle it cleanly. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Still got a little bit of time to work with, but Jenkins is going to shoot the triple off the mark. And here come the Zebras. Yep, 3-on-2, no look pass to the other side of the lane, and it's going to be Darius Morris making Caleb Higgins look good on that possession.
Now it's a 10-point lead, largest of the day for Pine Bluff.
Scrum for the ball. It's going to wind up with Jenkins back near center circle. He works off a screen now with 15 left on the shot clock. Kick out to Buchanan, can't hit the three.
I'll say this, Harber's man defense has been pretty good. They've only given up 3 points in the first 3 minutes. We've only scored 1.
Yep, it's obviously come from the free throw line, so they haven't been able to score a field goal here in the first 3 minutes of the third quarter. A little hop step there by Higgins, and he'll go to the free throw line. So Higgins now with 22 on the afternoon.
And that's the 4th on Cole Bowen.
Basket's good at the line for Pine Bluff.
And he's their second leading scorer behind Lawson Jenkins with 5 points.
Yeah. Because Jenkins had 17 in the first half.
This is Higgins' second trip to the free throw line. 2 for 2 already, make it a perfect 3 for 3. He converts the and one. It's now 41-28.
And this is a big couple of minutes here for Harber. I mean, they're sort of on the ropes, and if they're going to fight off, it's going to start now. And they catch a break there, because if Pine Bluff would slow down half a heartbeat, that's a layup.
Absolutely, yeah. Come up with an unforced turnover. Bishop just trying to make something happen, trying to feed McCray in the paint, wind up turning it over, but as you said, they do catch a break. Now Bishop gets a clean look at a three-pointer, but can't drop it in. It's not that Harber's not getting the looks here in the third quarter, they're just not hitting them. How about the handles by Higgins to weave his way through the traffic and lay that one in with the left hand. He's putting on a showcase here. Bishop left wide open, and he is fouled by Harris. Tried to draw him off with the head fake, but winds up at the free throw line anyway.
All right, so is that who they got?
Yep, Tavion Harris with his first. Bishop's first points of the afternoon coming at the free throw line. Whole new rotation of characters in here now for both teams.
Pine Bluff tried. It's interesting that, they've got the momentum, but Coach Dixon decided he would try to, rev up the pace a little bit, using his defense to try to speed things up, extending it full court there for a couple possessions.
43-30, 13-point lead here for the Zebras. There's an entry pass to Dadrian White. White trying to come off a screen there in the lane. Foul called on Harrington McCray.
Foul charge number 21, Harrington McCray.
And that is his second.
Team sport.
So midway through this third quarter, there's a three in the corner up and good for Tavion Harris. Go say Harber is still without a field goal here in the second half.
Yep, 5 points now for Harris as he drops in that triple. Oh, and Harber nearly lost the ball there with Pironi. Lawson Jenkins off a screen, gets it back, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Good movement without the ball for Jenkins. You know, he hit some threes earlier, and so they're going to guard him out there on the line. And that time, you know, he moved without the ball. Team did a good job finding him. Gets himself to the free throw line.
Second foul called on Tavion Harris as Jenkins hits his first free throw on this trip. 4 for 4 on the afternoon, 18 points. And Brad, you said it a minute ago. It's over halfway through the third quarter, and we still have not had a field goal from Springdale. From Harber, rather.
Now Coach Bolin grabs the timeout. You know, talk with Scott Bolin. Of course, people around here know him. He's a Northeast Arkansas guy. He played at Greene County Tech. He won a state championship as a player. He coached at Greene County Tech. You know, won a couple there as a coach, and ended up out in Northwest Arkansas. But, you know, it's important to him for a couple different reasons. He's you know, typically brings his team over here. And, you know, number one, you know, get them in another part of the state. You know, get some good competition. See teams that won't see maybe otherwise, because there's not another, you know, except for North Little Rock. You know, maybe a team they may not see again all year. And then another one, though, one of the key reasons he loves coming to this tournament is we're sitting here just to the right of midcourt on the front row, and it's his mom and dad are over there, and he gets to, you know, spend the weekend with them. And they get to see his team play, and that's a big deal for Coach Bolin.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, he absolutely loves coming back and bringing his team over here, and it's always fun watching them, you know, because, I mean, I don't feel like we see his style of basketball over here anymore now that he's left. So Harber comes up with a turnover. Lawson Jenkins brings it up the floor and fouled by the Zebras. That's Armand Buchanan picking up his first. And Coach Bolin's son was a standout player at Greene County Tech, of course, as well. And spent a little bit of time playing overseas.
Still is.
Still playing overseas.
He's had a heck of a career.
Playing in Germany, right?
Overseas. He's played in several countries along the way. Yeah, Skyler still at it, and they're finally get a field goal there. They get the straightaway three from Lawson Jenkins.
Yeah, that's his 5th three-pointer here of the afternoon. Makes it an 11-point ball game. Wildcats trying to claw their way back in it. Zebras need a bucket here, and I think that's why they're going to call a timeout. Coach Billy Dixon wants to talk some things over. Seems like they've had a little bit of a scoring drought here for the last minute and a half or so of this game. So full timeout on the floor. We're going to take one with them. 3:01 left to play here in the third quarter. 46-35 the score. Pine Bluff leading Harber here in the Hurricane Classic. Watching it on Tubetown. Live local from Ritter Communications.
Life doesn't always go as planned. So when a power surge affects your TV, or a breakfast mishap takes out your laptop, Guardware multi-device protection gives you peace of mind, knowing your devices will be repaired or replaced with just one call, and without breaking the bank. Protection you can trust. Guardware from Ritter. Enroll today to keep what matters most protected tomorrow.
Andy Maness and Brad Bobo welcome you back to Tubetown's coverage of the 34th annual Barry Pruitt Hurricane Classic. 46-35 the score. Pine Bluff leading Springdale Harber. And so far, we talked about it just a minute ago, Pine Bluff here in the last couple minutes seems like they've been on a bit of a scoring drought. So Coach Dixon calls a timeout and try to draw up a play to get some points on the board here.
Yeah, be interested to see too. I want to see what they do next time on defense. If they stick with the press or kind of go back to half-court defense, which they've had some success with today.
And it looks like Harber looked like they had switched back to that zone defense.
Not for long though, because one trip in zone, and Caleb Higgins found it and hit a three. So
he's got 8 points here in the quarter. Give him 28 for the game. 49-35.
And sure enough, Pine Bluff sort of went back half-court man, which is, defense they've had success with. And I think they sort of, my guess is, either they wanted to work on zone, or they may have also been looking for the knockout punch. That's a heck of a pass out of a double team.
Might have gotten away with the travel there, but Jacob Howard is open underneath the basket to bail out his teammate. Now a 12-point game. Yeah, it looked for sure like he was dead in the water out here away from the perimeter as he was double teamed. Higgins left open for a three-pointer, and you can't give him an inch out there. 10 points in the quarter, give him 30 for the game. Here's Digger with it. Now Pironi. And he's fouled on his gather. And they're going to give him 2 shots. Caleb Higgins picking up his second. Comes with 1:28 left to play in the third quarter. And Pironi can't hit his first attempt. First time he's been at the free throw line tonight. One of the many players coming in off of the bench for the Wildcats. Off the mark on his second as well. And that's going to be the Zebras coming down with the rebound. Higgins off of a screen. Here's Charles Harris. Three-point attempt is short. Long rebound goes to the Wildcats. Here's Lawson Jenkins with numbers. Nice pass, nice no-look dish to Jacob Howard. He can't finish it, but he will go to the free throw line. And how about that look from Garrett Pironi?
He gets a round of applause from Scott Boland. Now, I wonder that he got his teammate to the free throw line, but I do almost wonder if he gave up a layup to do it.
Absolutely. I think he could have scored as well. Yeah, one extra pass that wasn't necessary. It was pretty, though.
Yeah, it was.
Jacob Howard will hit his first shot. First time he's been at the free throw line. And it makes it 52-38. Give him 39 as he hits both. And Cole Bowen checks back into the game. First time we've seen him in several minutes as he's been in foul trouble with 4 personal fouls. He's going to try to not pick up a 5th. Here's a steal from Pironi. Fast break bucket. Good, his first points of the game.
Yeah, now it's OC Harber trying to use its defense to get back in it. And it did there, but now a foul coming into the front court.
Yeah, Pironi got right in front of the carrier there, and that'll give the Wildcats 5 team fouls here in the second half.
Yeah, that's on Pironi, his third.
45 seconds remaining, about a 13-second difference here between the shot clock and the game clock. A shot from inside the free throw line by Higgins is off the mark, and Wildcats come down with the rebound, but he's double teamed. That's Charlie Bockelman. He's able to get it up to Jenkins. Jenkins weaving his way through traffic beautifully to hit the layup. Heck of a gather and a heck of a finish. He's hopped right around the defender, makes it a 9-point ball game. First time we've been in a single-digit deficit in quite some time. There's a wide open look underneath the basket.
Malcolm Howard with the finish. Harber got caught chasing there, and a good find. Howard open underneath.
Yeah, back to a double-digit lead here. Shot at the buzzer, off the backboard, good. How about that? That's Charlie Bockelman.
How about it?
Dropping in the triple to end the third quarter. Back to a single-digit deficit for the Wildcats. 54-46 as we head to the fourth. Pine Bluff still leading, but Harber making a run there at the end of the third. We're back with the fourth right after this on our coverage of the 34th Annual Hurricane Classic on Tubetown. Live local from Ritter Communications.
How much bandwidth will satisfy your home's hunger? The average household now has more wireless devices in use a day than ever before, including TVs, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. HD streaming and gaming can use large amounts of data and slow down speeds for other users. The more devices you use, the more bandwidth your home needs. So make sure you have enough bandwidth. Get up to 100 megs with internet from Ritter Communications. It's the speed you need to power all your devices. Call today.
Andy Maness and Brad Bobo welcome you back to our coverage of the 34th Annual Hurricane Classic on Tubetown. Getting ready to start the fourth quarter between Pine Bluff and Springdale Harbor, and it has been a heck of a ball game to be a part of. It's just an 8-point game right now. You had Charlie Bockelman making it an 8-point game at the end of the third quarter, bouncing one off the glass from the left elbow as time expired.
And honestly, I think Coach Dixon, when he extended his defense full court, it actually ended up having the opposite effect. To that point, I don't think Harber had a field goal in the third quarter, and they end up scoring 19 points in the frame, their highest scoring quarter of the game, and they didn't have a field goal in 4 minutes.
Yeah, they were trailing by as many as 15. Able to narrow it down to single digits. Good little run there at the end of the second quarter, and they played some good defense too on Pine Bluff, though Pine Bluff was able to get in a couple of shots to kind of hold them at bay for the time being. Here's Higgins with a deep three-point attempt, and my goodness, it just seems like every single thing he is throwing up is falling through. He's shooting through a 10-foot hoop right now.
7th three of the afternoon.
Puts the lead back up to 11, and a turnover will give it to Pine Bluff.
And again, Coach Bolin went zone 1 or 2 possessions in the whole third quarter, and Higgins found it and hit a three both times. So he's single-handedly having to, has Coach Bolin changed the way he's trying to play defense. Now you see they're just almost. It's a loose man everywhere else, but it's almost a box and one.
It really is. Trying to keep a body on Higgins at all times. He's able to get a little bit of space to get that shot off. Contact, but no foul called. A little gather there by Bowen, and Bowen will go to the free throw line. Looked like he was stumbling on his way to the basket, but was able to get that shot off.
That was a heat check three for Higgins there.
Absolutely.
That one went in over somebody in the corner for his 8th of the day.
Well, that would have been big for him to hit that shot too, right in front of his bench. Charles Harris called for his first foul. And Bowen at the free throw line for the first time tonight picks up his 6th point on the first free throw attempt. Second one on the way, it'll rim out. 1 for 2. And cherry picking at the other end is Charles Harris, and he's able to get the easy layup, playing snowbird down there.
It only works if somebody sees you.
Lead back up to 12 now. There's the double team. Bowen's able to get out of it. Now into Jenkins with the defense draped all over it. Now they want to double team him. He's just going to lay it in though. Split the defense beautifully, and Jenkins now with 14 on the, or excuse me, he's got 30 now, I think.
Well, that's a nice
26.
no-look feed there for Tavion Harris with the finish.
As I try to put my shoes back on from counting my toes, I can't get my points right here. Tavion Harris now with 7 in the game after that bucket for Pine Bluff. 61-49 the score. Jenkins has 26, by the way, for Harber. Here's a three-point attempt.
And he's going to get called for the push there.
Yep, first one called on Lawson Jenkins as he was able to box out and get that rebound. Boxed out a little bit too hard, though.
Yeah.
It's a good wide open three-point attempt from Charlie Bockelman. He just couldn't drain it. He couldn't have been more wide open, though. 5:30 left to play in this one. It's an 11-point ball game.
32 for Higgins right now, including 7 3-pointers on the day.
It's a 12-point ball game, as I once again can't count.
And again, they're chasing him. Pieroni's job is to just stay in the jersey of Higgins, and does a good job there. He didn't get a touch on that possession.
Yeah, Tavion Harris attempted a pretty wide open three there, but couldn't get it to fall. There's McCray, who lowers his shoulder like a fullback. He'll wind up at the free throw line.
Yeah, you called that one right. I was interested to see which way they were going with that one.
I was too.
And realistically, probably right either way, because the defender was, jumped in front and moving with him. But yeah, Big McCray did lower the shoulder.
The left-hander puts in his first free throw. He's got 3 points on the afternoon, makes it an 11-point ball game, 61-50. Off the mark on the second, but Wildcats get the offensive board. Here's Pironi trying to find Digger, but instead gets it out to Jenkins. One of the Zebras might have poked it loose. Here's Digger with a three-pointer off the mark. Offensive rebound, though. Now a kick out to Jenkins. Jenkins, three-pointers off the mark. Looking for the contact, but didn't get it. But Digger is going to be called right there, and did it right in front of the Wildcat bench, and none of them are happy about it. They all had the same reaction.
No, it must be, I guess, yeah, they called it on, as you said, on Digger. Pironi thought he had poked it loose, and I think when the whistle blew, he thought it was on him. He was jumping up and down thinking he didn't commit a foul. Well, he's right. He didn't. They called it on Digger, and going to walk to the other end for the 1-and-1.
Yeah, 17 fouls here on Harber with 4:49 left to play in the fourth quarter. 18 fouls on Pine Bluff, so any more fouls on either team will be at the free throw line. Here's Darius Morris for the 1-and-1. Off the mark.
Well, Harper can't have a lot more empty trips, but if we're going to win it, obviously got to be on the defensive end too, string some stops together. And they're going to have to hit free throws because they're going to, they're going to get back to the line here again this trip, and every whistle, as you said, is getting them to the line the rest of the way.
Now 9 fouls on Pine Bluff. Foul called on Malcolm Howard. That's number 3 on Howard. Howard will come to the bench. Adrian White will check in for him. White, Higgins, Charles, and Travion Harris into the game for Pine Bluff, along with Darius Morris. It's Digger, McCray, Bishop, Jenkins, and at the free throw line is Garrett Pironi. He will go 2 for 2, make it a single-digit game once again. The lead trimmed to 9, 61-52. Charles Harris in the corner will work it back up top now. Tavion Harris had a wide open look from beyond the three-point line, but opted not to take it. Instead, now it's Higgins who will drive around the defender, but a foul called on Pironi. And he's a little bit dismayed right now. Kind of looked at the referee and gave him that, what am I supposed to do look. I mean, what are you supposed to do when Caleb Higgins is out here just dribbling around everybody? Looking for his 35th point of the game. He can't get it at the free throw line, but he comes up with a pretty sweet save over there on the far sideline.
That's a killer. I mean, you get not a stop, but you get a missed front end, and you can't get a rebound. And when you're trying to play catch up, the last thing to do is give a possession away, and it's basically what Harber did right there.
Yep, and as Tavion Harris is trapped here in the corner, Coach Billy Dixon calls a timeout. We will take one with him. 4:04 left to play in this one. It's the first of 4 games this afternoon. Our coverage of the 34th Annual Hurricane Classic will continue after this on Tubetown. Live local from Ritter Communications.
No matter what kind of business you own or operate, you need to keep it connected. Ritter Communications delivers the fastest business internet speeds available at a price that won't slow you down. Ritter offers reliable 24-hour service with network monitoring, along with the scalable options your business needs to grow. And we do it all on our own fiber optic network. The choice is yours, and so is the savings. Connect to something better. Call or visit ritterbusiness.com today.
Andy Maness alongside Brad Bobo welcoming you back to John Riggs Hurricane Gym. Our coverage of the 34th Annual Hurricane Classic. Pine Bluff and Harber right now in the fourth quarter. 4 minutes remaining, 61-52. The Zebras lead the Wildcats. Both teams above the foul limit here, so any fouls will put players at the free throw line. How about that little floater? I believe that was Charles Harris.
Yeah, it was Harris with the teardrop. Pushed the lead back to double figures.
And a foul called on Darius Morris. That is going to be his 4th, I believe.
And the 10th, it's just the last thing in the world you want to do if you're Pine Bluff. I mean, the one thing you want is the clock to run, and you stop it. And, you know, Harber is 17 for 21 as a team at the line, now 18 of 22. They've outscored you 18-4 from the free throw line today, and with a double-digit lead, you foul them at midcourt and put them at the line was not what the coaching staff over there was looking for.
No, I mean, and if you're going to foul anybody, you definitely don't want it to be that guy, Lawson Jenkins, as he drops them both in, and he's still perfect from the free throw line tonight.
And then Harber forces a turnover defensively. So Wildcats not going away here. This big possession.
Zebras have led by as many as 15. Right now the lead is at 9. Harber going to try to trim it a little bit more here with 3:20 left to play. Here's Jenkins for 3. Drops it in.
Yep. Well, they got the look they wanted.
Boy, did they ever.
And they have fought off the ropes again for the Wildcats. Now Coach Bowling grabbed a timeout as Jenkins hits his 5th, actually his 6th 3 of the day. And that's not the most anybody's hit.
Yeah, you got Caleb Higgins on the other side of the stat sheet who's doing work as well. I thought the rain was over, but clearly not. It's raining threes in here between these two. Unbelievable. Of course,
they've hit 13 between them. I'm trying to look. Let's see, I guess they've got, Harbor's got 2 more besides that, so that's 15. So, yeah, 2 more for Pine Bluff outside what Higgins has done. So, yeah, seen 17 threes hitting the ball game here so far this afternoon.
It has been a fun one to be a part of here this afternoon between Pine Bluff and Harber. Of course, this is just the first of 4 games, so a great start to the afternoon for sure on the final day of the Hurricane Classic. The other 3 games coming up later on, ICC playing West Side. Of course, we've got Nettleton facing off against Bryant, and then to cap off the afternoon, the championship game between Jonesboro and North Little Rock.
All, like we talked about earlier, all anticipated matchups.
Full court press out of the timeout for Springdale Harber, but how about the Zebras splitting it, but giving it back to Harber. Dadrian, well, I don't know if that was Dadrian White called for the push. I don't think it was.
They called it on Morris after the pass, and it was, that's his 5th.
Yeah, he'll have to come have a seat. He'll finish his afternoon with 7 points. And hate that for Dadrian White because he had a wide open layup taken away from him.
And so all of a sudden, you mentioned they've been down as many as 15, and here they are with the ball down 6, and there's still a bunch of time to go.
Absolutely. Several possessions left in this one as we're getting Malcolm Howard to check back into the game. It's going to send Tavion Harris. Nope, that's all 5 of them out there on the court. So here's Bowen bringing it up the floor, working against Charles Harris. Looked like they were trying to flash for McCray down low in the post, but instead it's Lawson Jenkins.
His 7th 3, matching what Higgins has done.
Just a 1-possession ball game now potentially. Ooh. And a little pop shot from about 6 feet out, missed by Higgins. Looked like he lost his legs on that shot, didn't have a whole lot on it. Here's McCray. Drives, spins, can't hit the shot against the defense. 63-60, 2:20 left to play in the ball game. How about Higgins trying to get the foul call, but tiptoeing the sidelines, no call, but he'll go to the free throw line here as he drives the lane and gets hacked by one of the Wildcats. That's Jabrian Digger picking up his 2nd personal. I don't know how he made it across the near sideline here without picking up a foul.
And that's the 9th foul, so considering he's getting 2 here, that means it's all 2 free throws the rest of the way for Pine Bluff. But again, and this was just the situation we were hoping we would get in, just to see strategically, Harbor's not in the spot where they got a foul because we can see the 35-second shot clock come into play. And not that Pine Bluff is really inclined to want to take the air out of it anyway, but that's a luxury they're not going to have.
Well, and from the way we saw them play at the end of the second and third quarter, they haven't really been paying much attention to that shot clock. They just come down. If they have an open shot early, they're going to take it.
Yeah.
Here's Jenkins with a nice feed from McCray, and he'll go to the free throw line as well. Beautiful feed from McCray, and Jenkins with a chance to pick up 3 here.
That was a really nice little set there for the Wildcats. They got it to the high post right there. McCray found the cutter back door. Jenkins moving without the ball again, and a 3-point play opportunity that he connects on.
Give him 13 in the quarter. He's up to 37 in the game. Now he's the leading scorer. Here's Higgins with a no-look pass, stolen away. Here's Bowen behind his back. And the loose ball winds up in the hands of McCray. He's got it again now, and he'll go to the free throw line. Ties it up at 65, and a chance for Harber to take their first lead since early in the second quarter.
What a turnaround here for Harber in this fourth quarter.
Malcolm Howard picking up his 4th personal foul. And McCray will give the Wildcats the lead. 66-65 with $1:35 left to play in this one. Here's Charles Harris. Ahead to Higgins. Higgins goes baseline. Floater, no good off the glass. Offensive rebound. Put back, no good. Harris saves it right to Lawson Jenkins.
And now Coach Bowen jumps up and grabs a timeout because he didn't want to get in a hurry and get a turnover there. So he's trying to make sure everybody's on the same page. Is that he played at this frantic pace here to get work from behind. He's got to make sure his guys know we're not behind anymore. It's a different situation on this possession.
Springdale Harber has worked their way up to regain a 1-point lead, 66-65. We'll take a quick break and come back with the final 1:23 of this one right after this on Tubetown, live local from Ritter Communications.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm home alone. Someone is trying to get in the back door.
Find a safe place like in a closet or under a bed, okay?
Okay.
Be very quiet and don't worry. Your home phone gave me your location.
Hurry.
Help is on the way.
Only a dedicated home phone can quickly pinpoint your address for emergency personnel. Cell phones can't. Keep your loved ones safe for less than 60 cents a day with a home phone from Ritter. Call today or go to rittercommunications.com.
Andy Maness and Brad Bobo back here with you at Don Riggs Hurricane Gym. 66-65. Springdale Harber leading Pine Bluff by 1 with 1:23 left to play in the ball game. This is a game that Pine Bluff led by as many as 15, and now Springdale has worked their way back up to regain the lead.
And they've done it off the strength of their full court defense. When they extended their defense, it sped Pine Bluff up fast, got them going too fast, honestly. They've taken some bad shots and hadn't had anything to go. And meanwhile, Springdale's been very efficient on its offensive end. Springdale Harber may have got away with the travel there, and they turned it over anyway.
Yep, and there's Harris, who goes around Bowen, and I think Pironi picks up his 5th foul. So he'll head to the bench. He'll finish his afternoon with 4 points.
And it's the team's 10th, so 2 free throws the rest of the way here.
Higgins with a chance to put his team back on top. We have had 13 lead changes in this ball game. The game has been tied 6 separate times.
36 for Higgins, and number 37's big here to try to tie it with 65 seconds to go.
I didn't realize when I said earlier we had a scoring duel between Lawson Jenkins and Caleb Higgins that would literally be what was happening down the stretch here. As Higgins now has tied the game and tied the scoring output of Lawson Jenkins. And he'll put Pine Bluff back up by 1. Draining them both on that trip. He's now got 38 in the game.
Just no rush here. You just run your stuff and get a good shot.
There's Bowen with a last-second dump-off to McCray, and he makes the most of it.
He got inside defensively. A couple guys had to cave in on him. Did a good job of finding McCray, who's hit a couple of big shots inside for Harber the last couple possessions. The and one to put them ahead. Now a bucket to put them back on top with under a minute to go.
Shot clock at 18, game clock at 35 and counting. 1 point deficit. Here's Higgins, teardrop,
Wow.
finished.
Oh, they wiped it
They
off.
called it a charge. Higgins comes in, takes the bump from, I think, Bowen.
Let's see if we get another look at this one from our crack staff or not, because I really think that there was the help defender that came over and got in front of Higgins. Has man beat, help side came, and they got the charge call. Shot clock's off, so if you don't get a 10-second call, Pine Bluff's going to need to come foul.
Jenkins has to pick up his dribble. There's the double team on Digger. 15 seconds left in the ball game. Digger drives, and there's Harris picking up, I believe, his 5th foul. Well, that's just number 4 on Tavion Harris.
So Digger, even if he hits them both, it's still a 1-possession game, and he knocks the first one down. And Pine Bluff lets itself some time, but you can see they're already shading Higgins. He missed the second free throw. The ball was loose for a second.
Yeah, nobody was ready for it. 10 seconds left. Here's Charles Harris. Here's Tavion. Spins, lays it in beautifully to tie it up at 69. 3 seconds remaining off of a beautiful layup by Dadrian White.
His first field goal. He had 1 point, and he took that to the rim like he was the guy that wanted it in his hands.
He made that look so beautiful. And man, to get your first field goal as a starter right here at the very end of the ball game in clutch time, that's something special.
We talked about how good Harber had been at the line, and this free throw on one end kept it a 2-point game and let Pine Bluff try to get to the rim on the other. And then, surprisingly enough, actually it was Pine Bluff that called the timeout. Make sure they're on the same page how they want to play defensively these last 3.6 seconds.
Well, I think the first thing you want to do is make sure you got a body on Lawson Jenkins. That's objective number 1. Make sure if he doesn't have the ball that he doesn't get it. But at the same time, you got a lot of other weapons for Coach Scott Boland's team. We got to see Charlie Bockelman drop in a triple there at the end of the second quarter, or excuse me, at the end of the third quarter rather. Maybe he can drop in another one at the end of the fourth, or we may be in for some free basketball.
Let's see what they want to do. I mean by Pine Bluff, they are going to guard the inbound. Well, they're actually not. They're going to just play center field a little bit.
Yep, 3 seconds remaining. There it is to Bowen. Calls a timeout. 2 seconds remaining. Coach Boland was not happy about that.
No, that's not the way he wanted that to go. So, and I don't know. Here's what I think happened, and I could be 100% wrong. I think I think the young man may have heard the bench call timeout, thinking they're about trying to beat a 5-second count, and then, so he heard timeout and he just called it by not realizing it was, they just didn't want a 5-second count. I don't know if that's what it was or not, but whatever it was, obviously wasn't what Scott Boland was looking for by the time it happened.
Yep, and that took 1 second off of the clock. There was about 3.6 left, 3.9 left, and now there's 2.5 left. So,
but again, you got for both of these teams, but in Harber's case here, you got young guys who have not been in this situation. So I mean, they're going to come out better for it no matter what. And because the most important games they'll play after this one, obviously. And, we'll see now what they do inbound, I'm guessing from the sideline probably with 2.5 seconds to go.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to come over here and inbound it right in front of Pine Bluff's bench. So
sideline out of bounds, a little easier to defend even if you're Pine Bluff. So worked out well for the Zebras.
Jabrian Digger comes over to take it out for the Wildcats.
Because now they will guard the inbound with the tallest guy on the floor.
Yeah, and Lawson Jenkins looking to get open here. Long pass underneath the basket. Bowen had a chance to maybe tip it in, but time will expire. No foul called, and Bowen is on the court. Slow to get up, makes his way up now as we are headed to overtime. 69-69, Harber and Pine Bluff tied. We will have a 3-minute overtime period coming up right after this on Tubetown.
Introducing Ritter Home Security. Ritter takes care of protecting what's most important to you, from threats like unwelcome visitors and fire, to making your life easier by putting the control of your home at your fingertips. Use the free app to shut the garage, lock the door, turn off lights, arm the system, and more. You can even turn back the thermostat to help save money on your energy bill. Plus, get a snapshot when your kids get home. It's smart, beautiful, convenient, and ready for your busy life. Ritter Home Security.
Andy Maness and Brad Bobo welcome you back to overtime between Pine Bluff and Springdale Harbor, all knotted up at 69. Both of these teams just trying to get out of this gym with a win today, and they are fighting hard for it. The game has been tied. I think I counted 9 different times throughout the course of this ball game. We've had several lead changes. Pine Bluff led by as many as 15 and just couldn't put Harbor away at the end of the fourth quarter. But you got to credit Pine Bluff, though, because they scored a game-tying bucket with about 3 seconds left in the game. So Zebras had to put themselves back in it.
Harber scored 27 points in the first half and 23 in the fourth quarter.
38 points for both Lawson Jenkins and Caleb Higgins, but it's Charles Harris here.
Just kind of broke Harber down defensively.
(71-69) the score. In the corner, there's a head fake. Nice move there by Charlie Bockelman.
It sure was, to use that head fake, got defender in the air, and then just take a dribble, get open, and knock down a mid-range jumper. Now a lot of players at this level, you're confident enough to take that shot there, and he knocked it down.
Trying to get Higgins open here off the screen. He's working against a double team. Feeds it off in the low post, and that's going to be Armand Buchanan scoring there. Breaking the tie once again. It's 73-71 now.
Look at this defense from Pine Bluff, sort of extended 2-3. It's the first time we've seen them use this today.
They give Jenkins a little bit of space to shoot a 3 off the front iron, and the rebounder is going to be fouled. That's Caleb Higgins on the rebound, and Lawson Jenkins picking up his second, just trying to follow his shot there.
And if he'd hit that 3, it'd have been the last time we would have seen that 2-3 zone.
Probably would have been, especially with the way that Jenkins has been shooting today. Especially beyond the perimeter. He has been hot from beyond that three-point line. Higgins back at the free throw line, where he has put out a pretty good effort. I think I've only got him missing 1 free throw so far, and of course, right as I say that, he will miss another.
Yep, that's on you that time.
Yep. Higgins taking a long look at the rim, as he has been doing throughout this afternoon. It's always interesting to me as a broadcaster to watch the different routines people go through when they get to the free throw line. Some guys just get up there and just let it fly. Other guys put it on the floor a couple of times. 74-71. Here's Digger, has a turnover, had it poked loose by Caleb Higgins, and it's Harris who is fouled as he recovers the loose ball and tries to bring it up the floor.
Very opportune defense there by Pine Bluff. They sort of found the right guy in the right spot, and all of a sudden they went to spring a trap way out on the perimeter and got the turnover and get back to the line.
Yeah, it looked like kind of an impromptu trap. It certainly didn't look like that was their game plan, and Digger certainly was not expecting it when it happened either. I think you said the right word. They sprung that trap for sure. Harris goes 2 for 2 on his trip to the free throw line.
So it's a 6-2 start here in the overtime for Pine Bluff. Now all of a sudden Harber in need of a good offensive trip here.
Under 2 to play in the overtime period, 76-71.
Actually 7-2.
Jenkins able to avoid the double team. Here's Digger for 3, rims in and out. Well, Wildcats needed that one, didn't get it to fall.
You don't have to foul here with the shot clock, but you need a stop. And again, shot clock's not going to matter much for Pine Bluff. I don't even mean this as a knock at all, but I don't know if the Zebras nowhere care that there's one out there.
They certainly have not been playing like they care, so like they care about the shot clock, that is.
Yeah.
There is Arrington McCray, who will now go to the free throw line to attempt an and one. Did he hit that? He did.
Yep,
they just hadn't put it on the scoreboard yet.
McCray's hit some big shots for them here in the last few minutes. 2 shots late in the fourth quarter to each put them ahead, including an and one, and now another and one opportunity here.
And I think they called that foul on Dadrian White. That'll be number 3 on him. McCray will hit his and one. He's now, I believe, got 11 in the ball game. Actually, give him 13. No, it's 11. Once again, I can't count.
Big trip there. 1 possession game and no need at all to foul.
Kevion Harris back to Higgins. Higgins trying to work through this double team. As you see here, they just keep shading that double team on him. Trying to keep him from driving.
At 10, so here's an interesting spot here. What?
Oh, wow. I don't understand that at all.
Well, here's the thing. My guess for what? Scott Boland's okay with that because you and I would both know it right now if he wasn't. and he
You're right.
He didn't have much reaction. The shot clock down to 5, so apparently they picked out Harris as a guy they want to put to the line, and he knocked the first one down. But I'd have to ask him later what the thought process was there because they played 30 seconds worth of defense. The shot clock was winding down, and they fouled the guy out 30 feet from the basket.
Yeah, I mean, completely bailed him out, too, because it wasn't a – I mean, it was – he got around the defender, but the defender just reached out and grabbed his jersey. Second free throw is off the mark. The rebound will go out of bounds. Last touch by the Zebras. Tavion Harris goes 1 for 2 on that trip. By the way, that foul was called on Trace Vitt, his first personal foul of the afternoon. Under a minute now left to play. 3-point ball game, 77-74. Harber into the front court. There's Bowen into Jenkins. Jenkins, little shot from the free throw line, off the mark. Zebras get the rebound. And Harris will go back to the free throw line.
I'm absolutely fine. Again, given the situation, no issue that Harber just got a good, took a 2, got an open look from your guy. I mean, Jenkins turned around and had about a 14-footer wide open. Just didn't knock it down. Again, even if he had, you're down 1, shot clock's running. So good job to not rush yourself into a 3. They just didn't hit the shot.
Yeah, and at 6'5", Jenkins is the tallest player on the floor, so he's got range over everybody. Definitely don't mind him taking that shot at all. You just got to knock those down in clutch time. 78-74 now, the lead extended as Harris hits his first of 2 free throws. Second one will hit the back iron and bounce out. Here comes Jenkins.
Yeah, now that, I mean, they've passed it 3 times in the backcourt just trying to get to the right guy, and not a lot of sense of urgency, and there needs to be some right now.
There's Bowen with a deep 3-point attempt, off the mark. There's McCray on the putback to make it a 2-point a game again.
McCray's been big for him down the stretch. Let's see if it's enough.
Here's Higgins on the other end, a quick scoop shot. No foul, but they just give Higgins an open lane to the bucket. 80-76. McCray on the other end will score another bucket. Well, McCray makes it a 2-point game. 8 seconds remaining here in the ball game, in the first overtime period at least.
And McCray all of a sudden's ended up with,
I've got him with 15.
15, yeah, that's right. And most of those have been in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Yeah, he scored 2 points back in the first half, was scoreless in the third, and you said it, the fourth quarter was big for him, especially down the stretch whenever the Wildcats needed it most. And last 2 possessions he's been there when the Wildcats needed him. So
you see Coach Bolin here, obviously defensively, they're going to play for the turnover first. And but then you got to be aware of the situation. It fouled pretty quickly, and my guess is do all they can do to keep it out of the hands of Caleb Higgins. And pretty much if you can make anybody else catch the inbounds, you're probably going to call it a win for Harber no matter what happens at the free throw line. But you just don't want Higgins to come clean and catch it and make you go foul him.
Higgins with 41 points in the ball game. They're looking for him. They don't get it to him. It's Tavion Harris. Nobody near him to foul. He dishes it off on the left side in the low post, and they just score a bucket.
Well, I take back what I said, because if anybody else catches it, it's a win. But you can't let somebody else catch it while you gamble for a steal and let them go down and get a layup at the horn.
Pine Bluff will come away with a hard-fought victory over Springdale Harber. The final score, 82-78. Heck of a scoring output by Caleb Higgins from Pine Bluff and Lawson Jenkins of Springdale Harber. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and put a bow on this one, get you ready for the second of 4 games this afternoon here at Don Riggs Hurricane Gym, all part of our coverage of the 34th Annual Hurricane Classic on Tubetown. Live local from Ritter Communications.
You've got a lot of choices when you buy home furnishings. There are many reasons to choose Hubbard & Hoke Furniture, Blytheville and Osceola.
At Hubbard & Hoke, you'll find a great selection of furniture, appliances, bedding, and electronics with outstanding service, 6 ways to finance your purchase, and free local delivery.
Plus, you'll get a great deal every day on name brands you know and trust.
Great deals, outstanding service, and free delivery. You're going to love
Hubbard & Hoke Furniture, Blytheville and Osceola.
Anus and Brad Bobo welcome you back to Don Riggs Hurricane Gym and Barry Pruitt Court, where Pine Bluff and Springdale Harber are getting their tournament awards here. And what a great game we just witnessed between the Wildcats and the Zebras. Pine Bluff coming away with the victory in overtime, 82-78. And Brad, man, I don't even know what else we can say about this game. Pine Bluff led by as many as 15. Back and forth, we had the ball game tied over 10 times. I mean, this was just a great one to be a part of.
2 monster efforts individually. Caleb Higgins finishes with 41 and needed all of them, because Lawson Jenkins with 37, just 2 great efforts, 2 great days shooting the basketball for those guys. And in the end, Zebras made just enough plays to salvage a win here in the 7th place contest.
A lot of fun. Thanks for being a part of it with us here on Tubetown. Of course, stay tuned. Coming up next, we've got another great game on the docket. ICC taking on Westside, a 1A school and a 4A school. But this is one of the most anticipated matches in the tournament. We've got that coming up for you next here on the 34th Annual Hurricane Classic on Tubetown. Live local from Ritter Communications.